I did this theater exercise where you get into a circle and you do, it's called the emotion game. It's 1 to 10. 1 is like medium size and 10 is huge. And I said fear, okay? Fear isn't something that makes you really afraid is in the center of that circle. 1, 2, 3, and I went all the way to 10 and they were like this. They were so afraid. They worked the fear, y'all, okay? And I said, okay, now we're gonna do bliss. You understand what bliss is? They were like extreme happiness. I'm like, good, that's good enough. We're gonna work with that. Okay, so we're gonna go for extreme happiness. There's something in the center of the circle, and I thought the energy is big. And they're gonna go big for this bliss thing. And they were like, when I start 1, 2, 3, like, I was like, wait now, you can go for fear, but you can't go for the bliss? Okay, now, I was like, this is where the courage comes in, right? The title of my talk is something about courage. Courage and walking in beauty, right? So it took me a long time to find that title, probably longer than to teach them that whole thing. So I said, okay, I prayed, I centered myself, and I said, let us be willing to be in the bliss. Because if we can't do that, what are we creating? What are we dreaming up for the next thing? What are we dreaming up? Right. So they held hands, and they got it, y'all. They got it. It doesn't happen every time, but this time, they got it. They were like, yes. And I said, can we make that commitment? Can we make the commitment to be in the bliss? Can we do that? Together, they said, yeah. They nodded their heads. And so I said 1, 2, 3. I went all the way up to 10. And by the time 10 hit, there was not a dry eye in that circle. Every single child was weeping, looking at somebody across from the circle from them, or looking at somebody's arm, or feeling their own bliss, weeping because they saw each other's beauty and they owned their own. What happens when we create a space for young people? What happens when we give them that opportunity? Didn't know that was going to get loud. Yeah, this is the time when I have to put the glasses on. I know that the look I give or the touch on the shoulder matters. It matters. It lights up their hidden spaces and lets them make big, bold strokes on life paper. Big brush strokes with, I know what I want and I deserve to get it in them. Big breaths with sighs after them. Big wild arms with shakes after them. Big wide strides with, I know that I belong here in them. And if I know that I belong here, then I can care about the air and the earth and the water, the person next to me suffering, the person across the street suffering, the person across the ocean suffering. I can care if the globe is warming up and killing us and everything wild and green at a speed that defies imagination. How will the children know that this earth is theirs to care about? We got to know first. We got to know and then live in that knowing next to this generation that looks to so many of us like they don't care. But we're selling them doses of self-hatred wrapped in fancy TV, Walmart, Gap, gotta have it, flashy stuff. Get good grades, get a good man, make the right decisions, go to college stuff. Email and cell phone, don't talk to each other face-to-face, fear stuff. Ignore the racism, sexism, consumerism, homophobia that keeps running us stuff. And then we turn around and tell them they need to care because the world is falling apart and they are the leaders of tomorrow. We say, get it together, y'all. You are the ones who will make the difference. But you know, it takes time. It takes a whole lot of time, a whole lot of love, a whole lot of spirit and patience for them to recognize that they have the power to make change. And then they can choose. Oh, let us be a generation not afraid to look into each other's eyes and proclaim that we see something beautiful there. Because if we don't, the globe is going to heat up, and the water is going to rise up, and we won't even notice. Without community, we're as good as dead, the young poet said, and I believe her. So let's get up, let's stand up, let's walk the talk together, let's touch each other. Let's be afraid and then dare to love each other anyway, together. Won't you join me?